let's start with this then. I'll go less big screen and actually show you this. So, yes, in the Doctor Who Monthly, Russell Davies said the decision to commission season 3 won't be made until season 2 has transmitted. So we've got another year. And that's always been the deal. So you lot, you know, hey, we might even have a day off. Although maybe not with the whole of the Legend. Sorry, I keep saying the Legend. It's the Sea Devils spin-off. They've got an acronym.
Oh, yeah.
So the great work goes on. I always think every episode of Doctor Who is someone's first episode. Imaginations will be sparking across the world as these 14 episodes, blah, blah, and I stop immediately. So basically, didn't you know, everybody, that why are we asking about season 3? It was never going to be commissioned till after season 2. Hello, that's the deal.
Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it? Because obviously, you know, we've heard some of these rumors coming along, and but as you say, it's still fine in the future because season 2 has been done, filmed, but not shown. So it's a bit strange that we're hearing potentially these ideas of a season 3 at this early stage.
I've read so many different things about this. Jeremy, I know we did a show that got about 4K in the end where you said you're walking away from this. But do you, come on, you're a Doctor Who fan. Do you keep looking the other way and get your Doctor Who Monthly and go, oh, come on, season 3, bring me back, bring me back?
I don't know whether season 3 is going to be made. You know, but and as for season 4, I doubt it very much. I think the BBC will lose patience with it and just not commission it. But you never know. I may be wrong. I may be wrong.
What about you, Gary?
Well, first of all, I think we should, you know, looking at this, the text that you put up. First of all, I think we need to say a prayer for anybody whose first episode of Doctor Who was Space Babies. You know, because I don't know where you go from there. But you know, I remember back when, in the early days of this new era, where RTD was trumpeting the fact, you know, no more breaks in transmission, no more dead years. You know, we're on track to do, you know, to have Doctor Who every year. I don't see how that if they wait until after season 2 is transmitted to even make the decision to commission season 3, considering that for these first 2 seasons, it's been 10 months of filming and 8 months of post-production. So if they wait until season 2 is transmitted, you're looking at 18 months minimum.
Long time away.
Before season 3. So it's like, well, there goes his commitment to, you know, I mean, and who knows? Maybe he's just saying that to kind of put off, you know, all the
there's been
the rumors about why they haven't, you know, announced season 3 yet. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, Daryl, have you got an opinion on this and what your thoughts are? Season 3, have you heard anything? Have you guessed anything?
No, I've followed most of the people who are sort of doing critical analysis of it more than the episodes, really. So I don't really have an opinion on it one way or the other, really. I don't really. I suspect season 3 will happen, but like you said, I don't know whether it go to season 4.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because we've had season 1, the Sea Devils thing's been done. He says he's got another secret project as well. I'll ask you all about what you think that could be. Some people say, "Oh, is that going to be a Rogue spin-off?" I'd rather a Susan spin-off, but don't regenerate her, please. Look, after season 1, season 2 almost in the bag. RTD has said he's writing season 3. We wondered whether he was being a bit previous, but I suppose there is method in the madness, isn't there? Keep writing as the BBC and Bad Wolf season 3, get everything all sorted out. Disney either comes in on season 3 and continues or not, and if not, they continue as a separate band, the BBC, just doing it their own way. But they've got it all set up. I suppose in a way that maybe they've learned from the Ncuti Gatwa, waiting for him to come out of 6 education and having to wait and having 2 Doctor Who light episodes. Are they thinking, no, let's get everything in the bag? If Disney decides to walk away, we've got the scripts ready. We can look for another streamer or we can do it ourselves.
Well, wait a minute, Brenda. I would think, and please tell me I'm wrong. I would think that how much money you have to work with. And I know we're talking about Doctor Who. I'm not talking about classics. I'm talking about the money they've had for New Who, and especially with Disney money. I would think that the kind of stories you write depend on how much money you have available, in the sense that you're going to write one story if you have the bottomless Disney money pit available to you, or if that's taken away, you'll kind of downsize your stories to contained, compact type of stories. You know what I mean? If you're writing like a mega budget, your funding shifts downward. I don't see how that couldn't affect. You're going to need to alter the story, or am I just not looking at this right?
I don't know, Michael. What are your tea leaves saying about this?
Well, I mean, I'll say quickly because my internet's always playing up. I mean, one thing I just read somewhere, I think it was, Paul Richards says that Gatwa was miscast. We were talking on our channel about the fact that Ncuti Gatwa as an actor is basically given what is given by the writers. What about if Gatwa had been actually written as a doctor who was a lot more serious, a lot more defined, rather than sort of like jumping and screaming and acting the way he does? It makes me wonder whether, Ncuti could have been actually sort of portrayed his doctor in a way which was more accessible to the fans. Is that something? Do you think that it's a combination of, or do you think it was that he was? Do you think he was miscast, or how do you feel about this? Because obviously, if he's back for another season, we don't particularly want it. At least a lot of people I know. So it makes you wonder whether, it's the situation that it's a combination of bad writing, or I don't know. It's hard to sort of explain how we should proceed from here, because it's all a bit, hard to define.
I just on Netflix started watching Sex Education Series 4, which is the series that actually delayed Doctor Who getting going, really. And I'd enjoyed Sex Education Series 1 to 3, including Ncuti in it.
Right.
And I then found that Series 4 seems much more comedic. They've shifted their emphasis there. He's more of a comedian in it. Right. And I just started to think he's in Sex Education now in Series 4, Ncuti Gatwa seems to be the doctor, but with glitter eyelids and everything. It just seems to be just a little bit, it's the same type of persona. And I don't know whether the series script writers in Sex Education have adapted because he became Doctor Who during series.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if they've adapted to him.
Right.
Or he's... I try not to go down the miscast idea road yet, because my guns are blazing for the showrunner, which is, listen, good finale, good series structure.
Yeah.
Don't retcon Sutek and stuff like that unless you've thought it through very cleverly.
Properly, which obviously you didn't do.
Yeah, that's where my guns are aiming at the moment, Jeremy.
I agree. I'm not sure whether he was miscast. I think he was just cast because the BBC wanted to cast him, and so did Russell T Davies. But the trouble is, he's falling into particular types, and that's sort of restraining the scripts that Russell T Davies is writing. But I think he's just writing queer as folk. That's basically what he's writing.
Yeah, we need a showrunner that doesn't the joke. I mean, we were doing Horror Fan Rock on Wednesday night, and I thought, you know what, the story was taken seriously by the producer and the team. People argued about whether Tom Baker was too dark, but I quite liked it.
No, I think he was all right. Yeah.
But he was taking it seriously.
Sure. Yeah. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Tom Baker's character, he would take it seriously, so you have more respect for the character, and it would actually enhance the story more. At least it would for me. But when you got the current Doctor running, jumping over roofs and singing gremlins and stuff like that in the Christmas, it's like, what the hell am I watching?
And breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, exactly. It's too much. It's too much.
If you don't have the actor and the character taking it seriously, no way that the viewers will take it seriously.
But I mean, also Russell T Davies writes characters that are very much cul-de-sac. Like Mrs. Flood, and the characters that lead nowhere, but he hypes them up and saying, "What's the mystery behind this character?" There is no mystery behind the character. I can see that straight away.
Well, the mystery is he hasn't written the ending, because we know that from the writer's tale that he would write it later.
Right.
But so series 3, RTD says don't worry about. Obviously in SFX magazine earlier this year, all those streamers know, because we're all over this like a shot, like I was on Saloon. He said, well, the whole thing about whether they get series 3 commissioned by Disney, it's an industry decision. It's like any business, these things take time. Sure. I think the decision will come after season 2 transmission. That's what we're expecting. So he has been consistent. You could argue on that. But then, as you know, when I used to do my slides on what he said in other places, he said, I'm working on the 4th script now for season 3. It's not commissioned. That's still up in the air. But that's the same for every TV program. I shouldn't say we're confident, because that's asking for a fall, but we're very confident, to be honest, and we're just going to keep going. I can't stop. That's my problem. I detect there was a bit of consistency there. You're going to have to wait till the end of season 2, except this doesn't, I think, link with that. This seems to say it might happen anytime. It happens to every TV program.
I think it's interesting that when Ncuti was on a recent interview, was it with Graham Norton, and he let slip that season 3, he's back next year to film it. And then apparently, after it was a live transmission, it was cut out.
Yeah, well,
now that was interesting, because why would the BBC cut that out? Why would they? Is that because they're frightened of saying that they're committed to season 3? Sorry to go slightly off topic from what you just said.
No, I don't. It's all right, Michael. That's my second item. So for
those who,
they dovetail. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying to people, I'll go more on Ncuti and what he actually said in that chat show in a moment.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah. Go on.
So is it to put pressure on Disney to come up with the money and to make up their minds? That's not a decision.
Possibly. It's interesting, isn't it?
I mean, I just think that the BBC wants to wait to make whatever announcement they're going to make an official announcement. They don't want to have it be an offhand comment on a talk show.
Yeah, I agree. And certainly Ncuti is not going to do the announcement. It's going to be RTD and Bad Wolf. It's going to be...
I was just going to say, wouldn't Russell T Davies tell Gatwa what to say and what not to say on the show beforehand? I'm surprised. I'm surprised he actually wasn't on the show with Ncuti Gatwa to make sure that
he's like his bodyguard, isn't he? He's kind of like, I know exactly what you mean.
The two are very much
except
linked in that sense.
In a way, Jeremy, you think he's just rehearsing the importance of being earnest. Okay, the showrunner keeps an eye on him because obviously they're doing scripts and that. But you get the idea that maybe he's just gone on there to actually really talk about the importance of being earnest. While he's on there, Graham Norton says, "Oh, Doctor Who went well," or give us some, talk about Doctor Who. And he just basically said a little bit more because he knows more than we do. I mean, there's that possibility. And then, of course, everyone goes, "Whoa, hold on a minute. We do announcements on the BBC. This is not how we do it." That's what I'm thinking. Now the thread is on fire, so I will just throw it into the spanner here. While we were talking about season 3 and all that talk, what about this then? Game Rant said there was a rumor that Disney is to cancel Doctor Who after 2 seasons due to underwhelming viewership. Now, actually, when you look at the article, there isn't much there. It just says Disney spent a fair bit of money. There's rumors, there's ratings. I mean, just watch all my saloons, add them all together. And
I mean, it's stuff we all know about, isn't it? We're aware of that. Yeah.
But I must admit, you were saying, whether they're just going to kind of... my argument was that Disney's going to make the BBC sweat, but there is an idea that you're saying, which is they're trying to kind of make Disney blink first.
I like that idea. Actually, that makes sense. They're kind of like the uncertainty from both perspectives of the BBC and Disney, and it's kind of like a war. It's kind of like a sort of mind games kind of thing, like what they're doing, and you know what I mean.
I mean, I have to think that they're waiting to see what the ratings for season 2 are. I mean, they can't operate with no regard for the ratings.
Sure.
They're going to have to wait and see if are the ratings for season 2, are they going to start where season 1 left off and go lower? Have people basically already decided, all the people who said, well, I'll give it 1 year and then I'll decide.
Yeah.
Are they gone or are they going to come back? But, it seems to me like any television show doesn't operate in a vacuum outside of what the ratings are. So I think maybe they're just waiting to see.
Well, Michael Nemo's predicting here Disney reduces the budget and there is a season 3. Michael, there's a variation on that, which is while they're making the BBC sweat, possibly that they could actually reduce the budget and get more editorial control at the same time. I mean, I think that is a possibility. Whereas maybe the BBC under RTD writing scripts for season 3 as if they don't care and they're confident are just shooting ahead to say, we're going to make this without you, Disney. So you either join us or you don't.
I could see that. I could see Russell T Davies think he'll stuff it. If Disney aren't going to be involved, I'll be able to get funds from somewhere. I'm just going to keep writing. I can see that.
Crowdfund it.
Yeah, I can see that. You never know. You never know.
Is there any information on when it's season 2 is supposed to air yet?
They thought, Daryl, that it would be earlier than this year. So this year was around Eurovision it started, which was May, wasn't it? And there was talk that it might start in March, but I think
it's been put back, isn't it now?
Yeah, I think they're now pushing it back again, aren't they?
Because of the gap. Because obviously they're not filming the next season yet, so they will have to film. What I reckon, obviously I don't know for sure. I reckon they'll show season 2 in autumn next.
There's also the what you call it, the Sea Devil spin-off to fill a month.
Yeah, well, that's going to be filming until December.
Yeah. And we've got some material on that. Anyway, since, Michael, you mentioned Ncuti, we might as well throw him in. And then I'll come to the thread, everybody. I know you're on fire, and I'm trying my bestest after, a holiday to keep up with you. But basically, yes, season 3 filming. Well, Ncuti did actually, he must have said it in the Graham Norton show because it was reported. And you saw it everywhere. Basically, whether it was the Radio Times, TV Zone, Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa says that season 16, season 3, is being filmed next year. And obviously the evidence was actual on the Graham Norton show. And he said everything. I mean, if you look at the top bit there, he says, it's all going well. We did the 2nd series this year. The Christmas special's coming up and we are filming a 3rd series next year. Now, if I just show you now, so there we go, hugging it out.
Oh boy.
Saying hello to Graham Norton, and there's him with Miranda Hart and some Hollywood actresses. He didn't actually say that much. I think he was quite overawed, actually.
Was he going clubbing right after the taping of the show? Is that why he was wearing what he's wearing?
Well, he had been a go-go dancer in the Polo Lounge in Glasgow, he said as well, when he was funding his drama course. So maybe he's going back to that same Polo Lounge. I don't know. But everybody then picked up, as Michael said, that the statement was cut from the final broadcast. And actually, here you go. Originally, Ncuti Gatwa said, it's all going well. 2nd series, Christmas special, 3rd series next year. The version we eventually saw was, it's all going well, finished 2nd season, Christmas special, but it's been amazing. Now, as you say, this could be us trying to find problem in the reads when actually, really, it's just they like to make it, like you said, Gary, a very official announcement.
Yeah.
But sorry, Brendan. I was going to say I dropped out when you literally asked me a question, Brendan, and I went, "Bunk." What are you going to ask me? Sorry.
I think I was linking with what you'd said because you said Michael that he was. They said he was saying something in the program and then it got cut. And I'm just showing on the screen there that actually you can see where the cut is. It's a bit like a Kamala Harris video, actually, where you can actually see where CBS has kind of doctored a little bit and woven it around. I never knew TV should really do that nowadays with politics, but there you go. Yeah. But you can see that they've done a Kamala Harris on Ncuti Gatwa in Graham Norton, it looks like.
Well, it's very interesting that they obviously dropped it. And I'm surprised that they just didn't keep it in, which it makes it curious and curiouser. I mean, it's kind of like, it's the uncertainty. I mean, that's the problem with this sort of environment. You never know quite how it's going to go. And really, I can't wait for the 2nd season to go out and see what the ratings are going to be. Yes. I think they're going to be very similar to this season, perhaps even worse. Yep. And then that's when the actual real interesting stuff is going to happen. Like, are we going to carry on with this? Of course, we've got the Christmas special coming along in a couple of months' time, and that'll be our first indicator of how things. Because I think people and they need to digest and think over a season and think, well, was it really that bad? Yes, I do think it was really that bad. But it's the general audience, isn't it? It's whether it's kind of like, well, you know, it's weird, isn't it?
It's these general. I mean, I'm talking to somebody who might come on who actually overall enjoyed season 1, and I said, "Oh, I'd love to talk to you because I'm trying to work out why." And they just said, "I don't see where I dislike things. The way they looked at season 1 is the bits they found favourite."
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh gosh, but as a Doctor Who fan, I'm going, that fell below the bar, that broke the rules, that was just shoddy. I can't help it. But anyway, obviously there's different schools of thought, Michael, on that one. I'm just going to
see. That's why Brendan took his trip. He had to go to New York and Canada and all over the world to find the person who likes season
the one person
yes.
in the States who liked it. Like, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and I think he'd taken a substance as well. No. But David Mullen here, good to see you again. If this was successful or even popular, we wouldn't be waiting until season 2 has gone out. I agree with you, David. I always thought that when you were hearing the credits of one of the early episodes of any series, if it was a blockbuster, people have put their money into it, and they normally announce it, don't they? They say, "Well, the season 2 will be made or will be coming sometime next year." They even do it with James Bond. Normally, they normally say it will be back.
Yes.
If season 1 had been very, very successful, hugely successful, Disney would have snapped.
So quiet. You could hear the cockroaches. It was literally like it was like an awkward. It was like an awkward scene from The Office where David Brent says something and no one like. It's like, what? Did we just watch for the last 8 weeks?
And I don't want to kind of dwell on the negative, but I will say that for me personally, the whole smoking gun about the probable numbers for season 1 is the fact that they never released the audience appreciation.
Yeah. And that's the change, isn't it? As well, they used to do that, obviously.
So I'm looking at the thread here, and people are very cynical about, did Ncuti even say it's his garbage? Paul Richards says, well, he's not very bright. I have to say, I think there's an element where he got excited. And obviously, I think he did just say, I've made the Christmas special, season 2's in the bag, and next year we're filming again, because he knows that. I mean, it's hard to resist, I suppose. I think he did need RTD.
Maybe it's an assumption that they're filming. Maybe unless this is the thing, is he assuming that Doctor Who's been going on for so long that, I'll be back next year, we're filming, or was it kind of like he's a bit naive as to the situation?
Well, Michael, he knows his boss is writing the scripts of series 3, so it's not hard to jump into the fact that we're filming.
Good point.
Yeah.
But I have to say, we're all, you know me and my R's and W's, we're all worried about a gap, and I just wonder whether the BBC are actually pushing on and they are going to do series 3 with Disney or not, and they're just waiting for Disney.
I think that. Yeah. I actually think that's a very fair point, that they're going to do it no matter what. And I think possibly that's what he's actually jumping at. He's hoping that they're going to get the actual, obviously, extra cash from Disney. But nevertheless, whatever happens with Disney, they're going to make it. And I think that's possibly what we're actually getting the indication from.
Well, I think Disney should call Brendan and have season 3 just be with the puppets. I think that the ratings would soar.
They would, because it would make no sense. One of my teacher mates the other day, she said, show me the sense sphere, show me the Who pets. And I did the horror of Ron Rock, again, my R's and W's. And she was in hysterics, and she said, I don't know what's happening.
So you're saying that the puppets are going to be better actors? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they're consistent.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're not.
And the stories would make more sense.
They did have an episode on Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea which had puppets in, and remember rightly. It was quite good with Vincent Price in it.
So the thread, we are very cynical here, and we're going to move on. But if the ratings go down, says Divine and Dragon, hello, negotiating for a different showrunner or shorter run of stories is possible. Yeah. Disney are all over this. They make notes, don't they? Disney is playing a war of attrition, says Babette. They are waiting for the beep to go belly up. Disney will feast on all. Yeah, you see that there's different schools of thought on this, aren't there? Who is the one playing poker best?